It's the running of the Melbourne Cup today. It's the race that stops a nation. I've never in my life had an individual bet on the Melbourne Cup because I'm not a punter. I don't understand horses. I think the only... I used to go to the trots when I lived in Bathurst. The harness racing was very big in Bathurst. And then I sashed a winner at Hawkesbury one day, and I forget the name of the horse. The radio station I worked for sponsored this particular race, and they asked me to go out and sash the winner. They must have been struggling for people to go out there. And I remember Jimmy Cassidy was the jockey on the winner of that race, and I have no idea what the horse was. So I'm a novice. But somehow, for some reason, everybody becomes an expert on the first Tuesday of November. 24 runners make up the most famous race in the world, arguably, and it's the Melbourne Cup. And Chris Waller has 4 runners in the Melbourne Cup. I understand he's never won the bloody thing, but he's going to keep on trying. And he's on the phone live from Flemington now. G'day, buddy.
G'day, Luke. How are you?
Well, mate, how are you? Are you nervous? Tell me, what's it like being a trainer of 4 horses in the biggest race of the year?
Yeah, it's quite a special moment because, as you said, it's a race that stops the nation. It's a household name. The winner of today's Melbourne Cup will be spoken about for the next few days, next few weeks. It's part of history, as will the trainer and the jockeys. So, from that perspective, it's a big deal, and it's our shop window, I guess. It's what gets people involved in racing, and it's what people will remember and dream about because it's such an iconic race.
I mean, they make movies about it.
They do, yeah. There'll be some interesting story from whatever the Melbourne Cup winner is from today. Whether it be the jockey, the trainer, the strapper, the horse, obviously. There's always something to talk about. It's just an iconic race.
Why? Why is it?
Well, I think, racing started over 200 years ago, Luke, in Australia because it was the country was flat, and it's the same in other countries around the world. It brings a lot of people together, all races, all nationalities, all both sexes, all ages. Everybody can play horse racing, so to speak. And a lot of people will go to the races today, albeit COVID restrictions. They won't even see a horse race, Luke, but they'll go for the day out. They'll get dressed up. Boys will have a beer. The girls will do what they do, and they just have a great time. That is a race meeting, and of course the horses take up a big part of it and are the reason why people are there. But that's what makes it so big. And in Victoria, they get a day off, and around Australia, I think most bosses let their staff have a half day as well. So,
yeah,
as I think one of the prime ministers, like Bob Hawke, when we won the America's Cup. If you got sacked for having a half day on Melbourne Cup Day, like after winning the America's Cup, your boss is no good.
Your boss is no good. Should Melbourne Cup Day be a national public holiday?
Yeah, interesting one.
Because it nearly is.
Yeah, it nearly is. Look, as you mentioned, like the Bathurst and things like that, a lot of country towns. So today there'll be over 25 different race meetings around Australia. There could be 40. And a lot of those smaller towns will have their own country cups, and they'll have a half day through those times, whether it be any part of Australia. So, yeah, it's an interesting day.
Chris Waller is with us, arguably the most famous trainer, or one of the most famous trainers. Tommy Smith.
Far from it, Luke. Far from it.
Well, I mean, Winks didn't do your reputation too bad, did she?
She was quite amazing. Yeah, she certainly put me in the limelight, as she did with Hugh Bowman and all of my team, and it was quite a remarkable experience. And
Chris, I'm dying to ask you, I know it's race day, but if you can give us a few minutes, how did you and Winks come together, and how did that and Hugh Bowman, that wonderful relationship between you and Hugh Bowman and that amazing horse. How did that all happen?
Well, we bought her at the Magic Millions sale, and it's an expensive sport to enter, but hence the reason why Winx had three different owners, in fact, and she cost $220,000. So they had to pitch up $220,000, split it three ways. It's a luxury in life. We fully accept that, but they were lucky enough to buy this horse, Winx. They chose me as the trainer. She had probably 8 or 9 different riders throughout her career, but that was at the start. So she just started. She actually won her first couple of races. Then she got beaten more often than she won. And then after about her 8th start, she didn't get beaten again.
What happened?
And that's when just confidence, Luke. Like people, they mature at a different age. So she won a couple of races as a 2-year-old. She was hit and miss as a 3-year-old. And the back end of her 3-year-old year, just before she turned 4, she started the winning sequence. So she matured, and they strengthened up like we do. Certain people develop earlier, and she got that winning confidence, believe it or not. And I don't know, you can't see it, but wherever she was in the field, and often she'd be back near last, she would just say, right, I'm going to do this, and away she would go. All track conditions, whether it be really hard or really wet, all distances, which is quite unique, and the most intriguing part, she did it for a long time. So
that last race of hers, when we knew that you were going to say, listen, let's stop it now. That last race, and back then we used to have Foxtel on at home, so we had Sky, and we put it on to Sky, and we stopped what we were doing, and it was me and my missus and my cousin and a few of us over at my place, sitting at the back in Bona's beer garden, and we swiveled the television around, and we stopped what we were doing because we all knew we were about to watch history, and none of us were punters.
Well, everybody except you, Byman, and I knew she would win. We just thought, we must win this race. Although she was a short price favourite each and every time, we never went to the races saying, well, we've got the best horse in the world, we'll just blow them away, because there's so many little things that can happen. And look, had she got beaten in her last 10 starts, she would have been retired as soon as she got beaten. So we were often going to the races saying, is today the last day? So to get to that final race day, and so we told everybody this is her last race, and everybody knew it for 6 months. And we finally got there. You can imagine what we were going through on the morning of the race, and even while the race is on, and then finally she hit the front. It was just a huge relief. But like you, in your backyard watching on TV, everybody from around the world, and we were getting messages from all walks of life, including the Queen. And that was Winx. She just took over. She took over centre stage, and she made racing her own, and it was a great thing for our sport.
And when you bought her at the Magic Millions for 220, was it?
Yeah.
You had. I mean, you don't go.
No idea.
You don't buy horses at the Magic Millions unless you think they're a chance. And apparently, Tommy Gay Waterhouse's father had an unbelievable knack of being able to look at a horse when they're up for sale and knowing which horse to buy. You must have seen something. Come on,
Luke. I'll tell you the truth. We had no idea whatsoever. No idea.
Wow.
And that's the sport. You just can't understand what's in front of you, and you never really own racing. You can just do the best you can and hope you get a little bit of luck along the way.
You've never won a Melbourne Cup. You got 4 in there today.
Hey, I'm going to do a really quick checkpoint with these guys. I've just got to tell them my name. But, yeah, I've got 4 in the race today.
So we'll go through the checkpoint with you. This is Chris Waller.
They didn't even stop me this morning, so that's good.
This is Chris Waller. He's just going into Flemington now, live here on the night shift. Thanks for the exclusive, Chris.
No problem, Luke. And I've got to put the record straight. I'm actually in Sydney. I can't get to Melbourne.
Oh, I thought when they said you're on the way to the track, you can't get to Melbourne.
No. Well, I can, but I've got to go down by private jet. You can't go on a passenger plane. And
well, you can afford that now, Mr. Moneybags.
Oh, I don't know about that. I still respect where I came from.
I know you do.
So, and I've got to do quarantine when I get back. So,
so where are you going to watch?
Yeah.
Where are you going to watch the Melbourne Cup from today?
I'll either be in my office at Rose Hill, because we've, of course, got races at Randwick today in Sydney, as well as other parts of Australia. If I'm not at Rose Hill in Parramatta, I'll be at home.
Does it give you the shits that 10,000 people are going to watch your 4 horses go round at the track and you can't?
It's a little bit frustrating, but we must respect COVID, of course.
Of course.
It's been a challenging period. Yeah, it's out of my control once the jockeys get on. So,
all right, tell us about your 4.
Well, we've got Very Elegant. She was Australia's Horse of the Year last year. Now, the Melbourne Cup is what they call a handicap. So the best horses carry the most weight, and she is a mare and carries 57 kilos. And for a mare, that's a huge weight. So that makes it really tricky for her, and she's got a really awkward barrier. I think she's jumping from barrier 19. So like an athletics race, it's a staggered start, not a horse race.
But the favourite Incentivize has got 57 too.
He does.
But
we're entitled to have 2 kilos less than her for being a mare.
Yeah.
He's a gelding.
Right.
But, that's a lot of weight for him, and it needs to be considered when he's such a short price favourite. So that brings them back to the pack and gives the lighter weight horses a chance. So we won a race with a horse called Great House, who's running today. He won on Saturday, and that gave him the right to run in the race. It's a free entry. So he only carries about 50 kilos. So it's 7 kilos less, obviously, than those two, but he's nowhere near as good. But because he's got 7 kilos less, it's a lot of weight to carry. It gives him a rough chance. And then we've got 2 others. Ocean Billy, he's a horse from New Zealand. There's a great story behind him. New Zealand's all over him. All the TV stations have been with his trainer in New Zealand, who sent me the horse to train because he can't come during COVID, Bill Pomeray. He's a Maori guy from New Zealand who's been through it all and just done a fantastic job, and he sent his horse over to me, so you can imagine how he's feeling. And then we've got Solino. He won the Sydney Cup in Sydney back in April, which is a great race, but it's not quite the same strength as a Melbourne Cup. So he runs the distance, which is 2 miles, and look, it's a Melbourne Cup. They're all chances, but clearly the favourite is a superstar, Luke. He really could be anything.
He's carrying 57. So jockeys are not allowed to give tips, but trainers are. Come on, Chris Waller is with us, folks, here on the night shift around Australia. Chris, give us your 1, 2, 3.
Well, I would say Incentivize, Very Elegant, and then I'll go Great House for third.
Just looking down.
Now, Luke,
yeah,
you said you don't bet because you don't know enough about it.
No, I don't.
I don't bet either, and I know probably too much. So I made a decision early on in my career, leave the betting alone because it only frustrates you, and just concentrate on the horses, and that way you don't get emotional when they get beat. But when they win, obviously it's a huge buzz. But fortunately for my sake, there'll be plenty of people wagering around Australia because that's what funds the sport, and of course we promote safe gambling and responsible gambling. But it's a big part of Australia, and I'm a very lucky man to be a horse trainer.
Well, we're very lucky to have you on the wireless with us around Australia this morning, Chris Waller. I thank you so much for your time.
No, absolute pleasure. And as I said to you before, I love the show. I drive to work at this time every morning, and you're good to listen to for so many people, so many walks of life, and it's not an easy time to be working. The 3 o'clock today, no one will be thinking about the trainers, the strappers that are getting to work at 3 o'clock in the morning, like so many people around Australia. And thank you for what you do for your show.
It's an absolute pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure. Now, the boss of Nature B, you sent me a text the other day.
Yeah.
You sent me Chris Waller sent me, I think it was on Saturday. Now, the boss of Nature Bee, Jeff Cook, he's in New Zealand. He's in Auckland. Do you know him? If not...
No, I don't. But as I said, I started in New Zealand. I remember it back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Them talking about it on the radio.
Nature Bee. Now, he tells me that there are a lot of New Zealand horse trainers that feed they supplement their feed with pollen.
Yeah, right.
Because it's all natural, it's a food, and it gives you... Have you thought about giving your horses pollen?
Can't afford it, Luke. But,
no, look, I'll do you a deal.
I've got some in my hand. I've got some in my hand here, the Power Pollen. I use it most mornings when I remember, and it's great. It's fantastic. And I'll tell you something. Like with horse racing, we can't give anything that is seen to be stimulating a horse that's not natural. So you could actually use it. And for an example, a very elegant running today, she can't have even for the sake of a Panadol in the last 7 days. So that's how strictly regulated the sport is, and natural products such as Power Pollen would be great. So
I didn't ask you to give a plug.
Oh.
I was going to say, you sent me a text on Saturday, and I said, I'll send you some Power Pollen, and you said, I already got it. I'll send you some more. But you think about giving it to your horses. Apparently they do in New Zealand, according to Jeff Cook, the boss of Nature Bee. But anyway, shake that bottle again. Go on.
Just about empty, Luke.
No, I'll fix it. Jeff Cook will fix that. Jeff Cook will fix that for sure. He would love Chris Waller on as a Power Pollen ambassador. Hey, listen, buddy, so good for you to spend some time with us this morning. Good luck. You've got 4 horses. You know, you got 4 horses in the Cup today. You got a better chance than someone who's only got 3. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. I do. We're very lucky to have these horses, and we'll give it our best shot, Luke.
I know you will. We'll be watching, mate. And can you and I catch up again soon?
Yeah, it'd be great. We'll have a beer one day.
I would love that. Okay. Take care, Chris.
See you later. Bye-bye.
See you, buddy. Chris Waller, live here on The Night Shift on Triple M.